Thousands of Indian students enrolled in Chinese universities came back in early 2020 at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic and haven't gone back since then. Nearly 23,000 Indian students are enrolled across various Chinese universities and most of them are studying medicine. But medicine is not a subject one can study online and without any practical experience. So how are these students managing these past 2 years? I met such a student in Faridabad and my colleagues caught up with some in Hyderabad and Mumbai to know their ordeal.
The state bank and located in the tonsils. Let us just remind ourselves of the fact where exactly do we expect to find the cells in the lymph node. So if this happens to be a lymph node.
For 25-year-old medical student Nitika Parashar from Jind, Haryana, identifying the color labels for blood samples was a challenge the first time she went to a pathology lab with her sister, also a medical student. Knowing which color labels to use for what blood tests is common for most medical students, but for Nitika, a final year MBBS student who has had zero practical experience while studying medicine for the last 2 years, this was a challenge. She's enrolled in Hubei University of Medicine in Xi'an, China, and has been in India since January 2020.
Online classes are not because they are
Not helpful at all. Okay. So how are you studying then if not online classes, because you have to complete the syllabus somehow, right? So how are you studying?
See, there are some apps available for the medical students where doctors are teaching. For example, MAR of the breath letter, Gurukul and all. So I'm using one of those. So
Okay.
it's been really helpful.
Okay, but also students who study from other countries, they are supposed to clear FMG and then only get an internship also, in fact, and then they can get the license to practice. So how is that coming along for you? Have you already started preparing for the FMG exam?
Yeah, I've already started. I started preparing for it last year because my sister and my brother, they are from the medical background.
Okay.
So they are helping me a lot. So I'm being blessed in this case, but
Okay.
it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And not everyone have a medical background. So,
True.
so I'm preparing for it.
Okay. So have you ever been even able to do even the basic things like till the time you were in China? Did you even do dissections and those things?
Yeah, we went to the laboratory. So like we examined a cadaver.
Okay.
And the teacher told us everything.
Hmm.
But we dissected some animals, even though it's not legal in India.
Okay.
It was there,
Hmm.
so we did some dissection on animals.
Okay.
So we did some basics.
And did you see any patients while you were in China?
No, patient. We didn't see any patient because hospital classes have not started by like third year.
Okay, so hospital classes start by 4th year, I guess.
Yeah, after the third year,
After
we
the
came in the mid of the third year.
So as soon as the hospital classes were about to start, you came here.
Yeah, we came back.
So you missed out on a big practical experience of being a doctor.
Yeah, a big loss.
So have you been able to get that experience in any form in India? Because okay, I mean, you've not been able to go to your classes, but is there any alternate arrangement that's been done for you or similar students like you?
If the government could provide us this facility, it would be a very big help because it's very important for us to interact with the patient. But as we are lacking on this, so I think I'm going to request the government to make us aware of this if possible.
Situation is worse for students like Rachita Kurmi, who came back to India during her first year itself. She went to China in 2019, spent her first semester there, came to India for winter vacation in January 2020, and since then could not go back. She's now living in Mumbai with her parents.
It's not an easy thing to study MBBS online. And all I can say is that, first of all, we are missing all the important clinical exposure, the hands-on experience, the hospital rounds, the pre-probation rounds. We are missing all of that. And talking about the students who are our juniors, for example, the ones who enrolled in Chinese universities in grade 2020 or grade 2021, they have not even visited the university campuses. They are studying online since the basics. So they have not even done the anatomical cadaver dissections. They have not seen the laboratories. So that's one of the main issues, online education. Like it was, we endured it, we had tried to like bear it till the point where the pandemic was very severe. But now that the world is opening up, the cases are declining, and we have vaccines. Almost all of the world is vaccinated right now. So now we want China to open up its international borders, because I think 2 years of online education is way more than enough for any student. I think it's the transfer. So the transfer is not easy. If the student even thinks about it, it's way more complicated. So first of all, talking about India, if we talk about transfer from Chinese medical university to Indian medical university, it's almost nearly impossible. You cannot do that. You have to start back from zero. From like you have to again give your NEET exam, which is the entrance examination to get into Indian medical universities. So you have to do that again. So any student like me or any other student who is in their second or third year of medical course, so they won't go back to that step again. They can't take that much, because already the duration of MBBS is 5 years, and even after that we have to do our post graduation, that takes 2 more years. So around 7 to 8 years go in our education itself. And at that point, if someone asks us to start again back from zero when we are already in our third year, that's a very difficult step for any of the students. So transfer is not easy in India. And talking about other countries, I can say that the fees is an issue. Some of the universities are way too expensive, and language is a barrier. So in most of the universities, which are located in different countries, they have the compulsory rule of learning their language. So the students who have already invested so much of time in learning Mandarin, it's difficult for them to again start with another language as well as complete their medical education at the same time.
Rupa is another student who had to return to India in her first year. She's now in the third year of her MBBS and she has never visited a lab, not even once. She says that she's now losing interest in her studies as studying online becomes tedious.
We came during pandemic in January 2020. Since 2 years we are undergoing online classes which are not effective, and we want offline classes, and we miss all the practicals which are very important to us. We are doing Twitter campaigns, and many students from different states met the politicians, but we didn't get any response from Indian government. We are worried about our future. So I request Indian government to talk to Chinese government and facilitate the return of Indian students in China. Please help us.
We request the Chinese government to help us. This is something that most students have told me and my colleagues. With no word from the Chinese authorities about the return of Indian students, their future hangs in balance. With my colleagues Purva Chitnis and Rishika Sadam in Mumbai and Hyderabad, this is Kritika Sharma for The Print.